Hello there and welcome back to Clammy Boob YouTube, the home of yours truly, Yammie Noob. I have had a lot of fun working on the history series for you guys, and I am glad we are wrapping it up with a true bestseller, the Honda Super Cub. Wait, wrapping it up you say? But Yammie, how can that be? Well, my sweet children, all good things must come to an end, and while we may bring the history series back sometime in the future, for now, it's time to say goodbye. And in all honesty, it's because you sweet little yampies seems to like my comedy-focused videos a whole lot more than these history lessons. How do I know, you might ask? Well, it's simple. Y'all just don't watch it as much. And as much as I can make videos that no one watches and simply for my own indulgence, your papa has to afford a child. And by that I mean my track bike. Look how pretty it is. Ah, how nice. If you've missed any of these trips down memory lane, fear not, my sweet yamlets. They will still be here for the watching, as you should watch them as well. There are some pretty interesting things that I didn't know about Husqvarna, Aprilia, the Royal Enfield, and all the other bikes we've ventured into the past to learn about. Seriously though, who knew so many motorcycles could have origin stories that centered around sewing machines and weaponry? Now, the Honda Cub doesn't go as far back as many of the other bikes we've looked at, but it has had an unquestionable reign. 1958 was our first sighting of what would later become Honda's #1 best-selling motorcycle of all time, and it was released in the form of the Super Cub C100. The first generation is usually where manufacturers release something, let the public find all the kinks, and then they fix some of those things, if not all, when they release the second generation. The C100 was pretty popular from the start though. It had a cool backbone or underbone frame, giant leg shield, and an automatic centrifugal clutch with a 3-speed transmission. Centrifugal sounds like something from a Marvel movie, but I assure you it is a real thing. If you've never heard of a centrifugal clutch, they're pretty handy. They work based off of centrifugal force, and they gradually release power to the engine so the engine can reach its optimal torque range. They're considered one of the most smoothing shifting clutches out there, and Honda created 8 different versions to make sure they got it right. Because of how they deliver power, you've probably used it in smaller things like go-karts, scooters, and the occasional small motorcycle. You probably have one in your garage if you have a chainsaw or a lawnmower. Basically, a centrifugal clutch allows for anyone with the most simple understanding that twisting the throttle means go and pulling the brake lever means stop. Most bikers nowadays cringe at that thought, but back then, and still to this day, more people on more motorcycles means good business for Honda, and it's a big reason why they've become one of the largest automakers in the world. And if you're hung up on what that underbone motorcycle means, it just means that the frame is made of steel and that the non-structural body parts are made of plastic or something else. Most motorcycles have steel in both the frame and other structures, so it's a pretty innovative change-up. Anyway, enough geeking out about clutches and underbones, let's find out what happens next in the Super Cub saga. In 1962, Honda did in fact make some changes to the first generation Cub, and the upgraded bike was released as the Honda CA100. This particular model is what sold North America on Honda, and the Mad Men-esque advertising promised that only the very nicest people drove Hondas. Rode, you get the idea. The C100 actually came out in 2 different styles. There was a Japanese version and an American version. The American version featured a roomy seating area for 2 and the thrill of not having any blinkers. What a time to be alive. The Mad Men campaigns must have worked well though, because the Honda Super Cub has sold more than 100 million units. So somewhere along this history chip, these bad boys got insanely popular. It's like the Beatles of motorcycles. 100 million units. That makes the Super Cub the most produced motor vehicle ever. That's insane. Maybe that's why people are still studying the Honda Nice campaign. If there are sales secrets hidden in there, I want to know them. 100 million units? I'll see you and raise you the Yammie Noob Turbo Busa merch. Maybe the secret was putting the ads in women's magazines. I could follow that trend. What are ladies into nowadays? Cosmo? Is that still a thing? Vogue? Something like that? To put that into perspective, Volkswagen has only sold 23.5 million of the strangely popular Volkswagen Beetle. Now, it's time for me to segue into the sponsor for today's video. Remember, I have a track bike that needs that sweet, sweet dinero poured into it so it can light it on fire and laugh at me. I'm laughing too because I'm a glutton for pain. That's why I ride motorcycles. No, my sweet noobs, the sponsor for today's video is none other than Ridge Wallets. You've seen these guys before. They make the finest in minimal wallets and accessories. Hell, even Chase on 2 Wheels rocks one. And my dude Anthony Fantano rocks one too. And overall, they're way better than your dad's bulky leather wallet. They come in patrician materials such as titanium, carbon fiber, and aluminum. They got all the options you could want. And right now you can drop in my code Yammie for 10% off and enjoy a Ridge today. I don't think that's their catchphrase. Enjoy a ice cold yet piping hot Ridgy boy today. Seriously, hit the link below, get a Ridge wallet, use the code Yammie for 10% off, and you'll be loving life. Alright, let's get back into it, you kitty pies. Honda knew early on that you don't create a product seated for lifelong popularity without making a few changes along the way. It's actually one of the reasons Honda is such a popular brand overall. They listen to consumers and adjust accordingly. Way to go, Honda. Take note, Harley. Some of the first big changes Honda made to the Super Cub happened in 1966. They added electric starts and kickstart options. And there is something about starting a bike that just gets people excited. A decade or so later, they added a relatively easy to use shift pattern, quieter exhaust, and focused on how to make more mid-rev torque power. Realistically, aside from modernizing aesthetics, Honda could have stopped here and kept the Super Cub at the top for a long time on practicality alone. The Super Cub was created to address people's needs, so from the very beginning the focus was on engineering as opposed to selling. The step-through frame meant anyone could ride it regardless of whether on they had a dress or pants. The engine was economical yet powerful, and there was the special attention that was paid to the tires. Keep in mind that the Super Cub was originally launched in Japan, which is why Honda decided to launch them with a 17-inch wheel. They're pretty common today, but when the Super Cub was being created, the 17-inch wheel didn't exist yet. Most motorcycles use 24 or 26-inch wheels, but Honda was worried that the wheels would be too large for the average Japanese rider. That sounds like it should be a joke, but it isn't, and it's actually pretty smart. Honda knew that the average height of the Japanese rider was smaller than most European riders, so they designed a bike that could easily be mounted, dismounted, and ridden by someone smaller. Being able to put your feet squarely on the ground if you need to is a big safety issue when it comes to riding, so props to Honda for keeping that in mind during the production process. All of the special attention paid to the Japanese version of the Super Cub just highlights the fact that the Cub was never meant to be a main project for the American Honda. That honor was reserved for the Honda Dream and Bentley. Clearly that's not how things went down though. At $250, the ever practical and reliable Super Cub transcended all others. The biggest engineering issue that Honda faced with the Cub actually was the downfall of the Dream and Bentley, the engine. Honda was dead set on creating an engine that put out at least 4 horsepower with a 4-stroke sound. The majority of bikes on the road at that time were around 1 horsepower, so hitting a minimum of 4 was a pretty big ask. To do that, Honda created yet another item that didn't exist, the 10mm spark plug. So how does a spark plug help an engine create 4 times as much horsepower? The smaller plug meant that the valves could be bored out larger than ever, so the end product actually created closer to 4.5 horsepower. Engineering challenge arises and Honda works to find the solution. I'm starting to see a trend here. Maybe I should stop chasing a Triumph sponsorship and going after Honda. Did I say that too loud? Well, they did rank very high on their S-tier bikes as well, and I think they were an S-tier brand. Whatever. Flash forward through the years of upgrades that kept the same basic principles in mind, and we land right back in 2019, where the Honda Super Cub is still going strong. The 2019 model is highly reminiscent of the original first-gen Cub, and it's kind of cool to see it rolling out around. People aren't sure whether it's a scooter, a moped, or a motorcycle anymore, but one thing is for sure, Honda kept diversity of riders in mind when they made it. Long gone are the days of Honda using advanced product sales to cover the debts they had to produce each bike. I can't even imagine Honda having to pre-sell motorcycles they haven't made yet in order to cover the cost of making them. That's just mind-blowing to me, but I bet all the bankers who turned them down for loans are now kicking themselves in the shins right now. You know who else is probably kicking themselves in the shin right now? Everyone who hasn't hopped on over to the Yammie Noob Patreon and enter the bike giveaway. Save yourself the bruised shins and hit up the link in the description below. All shins matter. Seriously, imagine a place you can come learn about bikes, hang out with like-minded individuals, get access to exclusive content, and best of all, hang out with me, one-on-one. That sounds pretty sweet, huh? What if I told you all you need to do is hit the link below to learn more about it? It started out as a beginner bike giveaway series, and we've still got that going on. The KTM RC390 is going to be shipped out, but the community aspect has really grown to be the best part about it. We've got channels on our Discord server, which is a chat room you can access on desktop or mobile for memes, bike purchase decisions, general chats, and more. You also get to participate in our weekly $100 Revzilla gift card giveaways as part of our It Came From Craigslist series. So if you want the best chance to win our giveaway KTM and join over 615 people who have signed up, hit the link below and join up. I promise you won't regret it. just ask any of our giveaway bike winners or our current members in the comments below. Go to patreon.com/YammieNoob to get started today. While you're down there checking out that link, be sure to smash that subscribe button to let me know you like me. While I am a fully developed, confident young male, it's still nice every now and then to get your ego stroked by the occasional strangers. If you're not a stranger, you can still send some love my way by sliding to that comment section with that revealing your innermost desires. I promise I won't crack any jokes about your secret infatuation with American Girl dolls, but I do promise to love you unconditionally, unless you ride a trike. That's the one condition to my unconditional love. Until next time, my sweet little yam yams, until next time. Fact: the children of identical twins are genetically siblings, not cousins. Weird. Goodbye.